Live captions coming to Chrome, a new Google Nest Hub, Tinder COVID-19 vaccines, and new Intel processors. How's it going, everybody? This is Dave LeClaire with MUO Tech Bytes, and I am here to bring you on a magical journey through the wide world of technology news. And trust me, there has been some news over the last couple of days, let me assure you. So without further ado, why don't we sit back, relax, and let us hear about the first tech story right now. So kicking things off with our first story of the day, Intel has announced its 11th generation processors. That's right, the big dog sitting atop the processor mountain has announced the next set of processors that we will all be using in our computers. Very, very exciting times. If you are a fan of Intel and you prefer to use them in your computers, you're going to want to stick around for this one. So here's a little taste of what they announced. You can get the full breakdown of all the different processors in the article on MUO.com. But just for a quick rundown, here's some of the processors that are on offer. So starting with the top, there's the big flagship, which is the Core i9-1190K. And that's the big octo-core processor, the super powerful one. That's the one you're going to want if you want the best of the best in your computer, if you want that top-of-the-line processor. It features a base clock speed of 3.5 gigahertz, a single core boost speed of 5.2 gigahertz. I mean, it is a powerful processor, and it is definitely going to be the one that's going to kind of carry the next generation of computers forward. So this generation is the first to use Intel's new Cypress Cove architecture, which is the first major new architecture change since 2015 for the company. So even though the last generation was technically more powerful in terms of raw specs, these will actually perform better even though they don't have as many cores and as many threads. Now with all that being said, Intel is still using the 14 nanometer manufacturing process on this. It's not switched to the 10 nanometer process yet. So we're going to see a bigger boost in performance once that happens. We're going to see that later in this processor generation. So for the launch processors, they may not get the maximum performance that this architecture will be capable of, but it will still be a pretty nice jump up, and it will still be like the big flagship processor to have if your computer is Intel based. So in total, Intel is launching 8 different processors. Here's the prices of those processors coming with this generation. There's the i9-11900K, which goes for $539, the i9-11900 for $439, the i7-11700K for $399, the i7-11700 for $323, the i5-11600K for $262, the i5-11600 for $213, the i5-11500 for $192, and finally we have the i5-11400, which is the entry-level model, and that will sell for $182. Now those are all Intel suggested prices. They could vary from retailer to retailer, but that is about what you should expect to pay for one of these chips. So if you're looking for a new processor for your computer, get that budget ready, because that's about what you're going to need to spend. And moving right along to our next story, Google Chrome is adding live captions directly into the browser. So if there's any content that you need read aloud, you'll be able to do it in your browser regardless of whether the individual video service actually supports closed captioning. So basically the way this works is once you enable the feature, which you can check the article in the description to see exactly how to get it up and running, it's rolling out slowly, so not everybody has it yet, but if you do, there's a link in the description. We'll break it all down. And basically what it does is it takes any audio that's playing in your browser, which Chrome then detects, and it provides you automated captions for it. Now obviously these come with some quirks. They're automatic captions. They're not going to be perfect, but it will give you a general gist of what's being said. So if you need this for whatever reason, or if you just like hearing your audio content in written form, this is a great feature to have, and it's cool to see that Chrome added it to the browser. As we move further into this pandemic world, a lot of things have changed, and one of the things that really changed for people is dating. Meeting up with a stranger and having close conversations and possibly more is just not quite as possible as it used to be. But Tinder is trying to fix that by sending 500 matched couples COVID-19 tests right to their house so they can meet up safely knowing that they do not have COVID-19. So beginning this Saturday at 7 p.m. Eastern, couples who have matched on Tinder can register for this promotion and get a free COVID-19 home test sent to them, which they can then mail back and find out whether or not they're free of any disease and illness. Now 500 matched couples is only 1,000 users, so not a ton of people are going to get these free tests, but it is still cool to see that Tinder is offering something like this to help people get out there and date more safely. Now obviously once you go out on your date, you're going to be out in the world at restaurants or wherever you go, and you're going to run into some risks there, but at least the person you are actually meeting up with and dating you will know will be COVID free. And in our final story of the day, Google has announced a brand new second generation of its Nest Hub, and it comes with some really interesting features, including some that might actually help you sleep. So first of all, Google improved the speakers of this new Nest Hub, which provides 50% more bass than the previous generation. So if you found the speakers of your previous Nest Hub to be a little bit on the tinny side, and you'd like to have a little bit more thump, this one's got you covered. Google also improved the ability of the Assistant to process commands more quickly, thanks to a little bit of machine learning, which is cool. Overall, it has just taken all the major functionalities that the original Nest Hub offered and made them better. But the really exciting thing comes from the sleep tracking, which is through Solly, and this is where this thing really stands out from the previous generation. Basically, it works the same way sleep sensing on a phone works. It analyzes your movement and the sound, and it detects whether or not you're actually sleeping, and it analyzes when you're in deep sleep or when you're in light sleep, and it helps you figure out how you're sleeping and possible ways that you could improve your sleep. It also uses light sensors, temperature sensors, and the microphone to determine other factors that might affect your sleep, such as a light coming in the room or changes in temperature, and it will let you know when these happen so that you can fix them and hopefully sleep better. And when you wake up in the morning, you simply say, "Hey Google, how did I sleep?" And Google will go through the process of breaking it all down for you, and it will tell you how you slept that night and everything you need to know. And if you're interested in the Nest Hub, it's available for pre-order right now for $100. If you're concerned about your sleeping and you want another way to keep track of it and you don't want to have to wear a fitness tracker like a Fitbit or something like that, and you just want something next to your bed, this might be a good option to consider. This episode of MUO Tech Bytes is over. Thank you so much for hanging out with me and learning about the latest from the world of the technology news. I hope you found this episode entertaining and informative. Make sure to like and subscribe and all that other good stuff. And I will see you in the next episode.